So, Act 4. Historically, Act 4 has usually always been the shortest act in Diablo games. And that still remains true here. What's funny is I remember beelining for this act because when this game first came out and when you're first playing it, or at least back when you were first playing it before mounts became a more common and easy thing to acquire, you basically were not able to actually use your mount feature, this right here, until you got a certain quest in Act 4. I mention this because think about everything that I have done up to this point, from the beginning of Kyovashad, the beginning of the game, all the way through Act 3. Now imagine doing that without being able to mount. I hated it. It was grueling. It was so slow. It took me so long to have to do that on foot. To have to go on foot from everywhere to get to the next part. I get the idea what they were going for when this first starts off, to get you the idea of how big and vast Sanctuary is and see the world that they made and such, but oh my gosh. Going across these big vast chunks of land on foot was grueling. I was not fond of it at all. Oh man. Man. I remember beelining because I saw that there was apparently a quest in Act 4 that finally gives you a mount. And we're about to reach that quest. And now I think they've changed it since then, but I'll talk about it when we get there. In the meantime, let's go ahead and use this Sightless Eye. I'm sure this will be completely fine and there won't be any possible problems that could arise from doing this.
My father's essence is reforming.
How do you know?
I feel it. Like 1,000 old wounds ripped open again. He is still weak. Vulnerable. I must strike before he can resist.
Make his power yours. The other lords will.
What happened?
She saw me.
She knows we're looking for her. Only a matter of time before she comes after us.
Not necessarily.
What do you mean?
Mephisto is reforming. And Lilith aims to take his power while he is still weak.
So, that's what you've been preparing for. All right, old man. Think. Think! If she takes Mephisto's power, she'll become like a prime evil herself. She'll be able to conquer hell and sanctuary alike. I have an idea how to stop her. But for it to work, we'll need the help of an old ally. Deliver this message to Donan. He'll have gone to Kyovashad for guidance.
I mean, the man is literally grieving the loss of his son. What did you write in the letter?
The beginnings of a plan to thwart Lilith. One thing's for sure, we need a soul stone. And that means we need Donan. He'll understand when you deliver the letter.
So if Lilith consumes Mephisto, could it help Sanctuary?
It would strike a blow against Hell, that much is certain. But is it really for our benefit, as she claims? All her actions are driven by hatred. That is her nature, and she can never change it.
Wait, hold on. I felt like the music was getting a little too loud, which is funny because I have it turned down to that. But it actually felt like it was actually drowning him out. So you're saying that she plans beyond protecting humanity?
I'm saying it's impossible to know. She can peer into hearts, tell us what we want to hear. You've seen it with Donan, Elias, and others. To trust her would mean gambling with the fate of all humankind. Not a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah. So, a couple things. I didn't get to talk about it. So, in that cutscene, wasn't that terrifying? All of a sudden, she just could sense and feel that we were watching her, and then she just looked directly at us. That was a moment like, holy crap! She just looked right at me. Oh, oh man, that's a horrifying moment. But then we have to start thinking about this possible idea of who and which is worse. Lilith or Mephisto? I want to remind all of you that Mephisto has been the true main villain of this story since the very beginning. Oh, I know the series is named after Diablo, I know, but let's be honest. Let's be clear about this. Diablo has never been the true villain of this story. He may be the final boss in 3 of the games, but, I mean, if you don't count the expansions. But he's not the one who orchestrated these things. He's not the mastermind. They tried to pass that off in 3 with the whole revelation of having it set up where they would all be put into the Black Soul Stone, and then, oh gosh, what was her name? I sense a soul in search of answers. Oh gosh. I'm actually blanking on her name at the moment. Oh man, this is gonna bug me. I have to check. No. I'm trying to remember. Adria! Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe I can't believe I could remember her name. Adria. The idea that he orchestrated and worked out with Adria to have this master plan to be able to get him to become the prime evil in Diablo 3, using his own daughter Leah to be also become his host body and such, like as if he orchestrated this and planned this whole thing. No! At that point, I have to put Diablo into the same category as the Jailer. Yes, I just compared Diablo to the Jailer. I'm not buying that these guys are masterminds behind this entire plan. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit together. Now, Mephisto. That's a different story. Remember, Mephisto is the one who actually orchestrated the Dark Exile. Mephisto is the one who actually got into contacts and discussed with the Archangels of the High Heavens about a possible truce between the Hells and Heavens, all to set up the Dark Exile. It was Mephisto who set up them getting reunited in Diablo 2 to take back the Hells so they could also take the Heavens. It was Mephisto who orchestrated the entire downfall of the Zakarum, as we discovered in Diablo 2. Mephisto has been the one literally planning everything. And you can see that happening here as well. We've already encountered him and seen that he has actually gotten some of these things working behind the scenes, reaching out to us, letting us know about these things and telling us and cautioning us and warning us about these things. So who's the bigger threat here? The true mastermind of this setting, Mephisto, or his daughter? Now, whether or not Lilith is being entirely true to what she's saying, and actually, because there is a thing where she does look at us and see us as her children, which in a weird way, we are. I'm saying we as in I'm referring to myself as our characters here. Remember, every single human Nephilim, which are the same thing, in this setting, are from angel and demon, are created from both Lilith and Inarius. That's why they literally refer to Inarius and Lilith as the father and the mother, because they are literally the father and mother of the people of Sanctuary. They created them with the World Stone. Now, the actual kids they actually conceived of was mainly Rathma, and I think he may have been the only one. I may have to double check. But she didn't, I'm not saying that Lilith literally birthed every single human on Sanctuary. That's not what I'm saying. But she and Inarius were literally, used the World Stone to help create the Nephilim and all the humans. So that's why she is looked upon as the mother of Sanctuary. So the question then becomes, even though she's the daughter of hatred, does she also still have a soft spot for us where she wouldn't actually want to destroy us and, use us for her own, well, she probably would, use us for her own ends. But who would we rather put our of the two, who do we think is least likely to annihilate us without hesitation? Mephisto or Lilith? I bring this up because I find myself wondering if Lorath has even considered this possibility. Because right now he seems set on putting Lilith in the Soul Stone as not considering the other possibility of, but what if we, put Mephisto in there? Or what if we just kill her and postpone her return? Because as we learned, just killing them doesn't perma-kill them. It just makes it an inconvenience for them. Now, Lilith was banished to the Black Abyss, but there was a way to be brought her back. The thing is, if she had been killed, she would have just simply returned, just like her father and uncles do. And aunt, I guess if we're going to refer to Andariel as if she's because remember, the lords, all 7 of the lords of hell are brothers, even though we have the 3 greater evils and the 4 lesser evils. You get what I'm saying. They and the angels all have this thing of if they die, they just will eventually come back. Although the angels have a thing where they get replaced by a different angel, but the lords of hell just keep coming back. That's why it's we killed them, but we know they're going to come back. That's why the Black Soul Stone was actually a genius way to possibly end the conflict, because we could possibly keep them in there forever. But of course, Malthael had to ruin the whole thing, but... So what do you know of Andariel?
More than I care to now. Her pain is primal, wordless. Once, she was part of something more. She doesn't like me to think on it.
It's a good thing we're keeping you here in the meantime, since apparently this place really prevents her from being very vocal in your head, but anyways. So, this is the quest where we get to go get our mount. We're going to go talk to Donan, and then he's going to be like, hey, give this to the stable master. He's a friend of mine. He owes me a favor. He'll give you a mount. Now, we have to go talk to Donan. However, there is something else here I want to show you guys.
after everything. Brushed aside.
Alright, we'll talk to Don in a moment, because you're probably noticing there's a number of people here. Why is that? What's going on here?
Faithful penitents, a prophecy has been delivered to me. One that speaks of a glorious future. Tears of blood rain on a desert drool, and the way to hell was torn asunder. Then came a spear of light, piercing hatred's heart, and he who was bound in chains was set free. You've all heard rumors of the demon Lilith, the daughter of hatred. It is my spear that shall pierce her heart. The chains that hold us to this world shall be cast off, and on my wings I shall lift us all to heaven.
Yosef? So Rathma is the source of the prophecy.
He was but a messenger, destined to pass on the word. Only Inarius had the wisdom to interpret the prophecy's true meaning.
Oh, Yosef, you poor blind fool. Prava? You said that Vigo would be in good hands. He's dead!
Then his penance is complete. I knew he had the courage.
Screw you, lady!
This is what he wanted. He is cleansed now, free from his sins.
He didn't have to do that to prove himself. Inarius murdered Rathma, his own son.
Who are you to judge his divine will? Murder is a sin committed by mortals, not by he who created this world and breathed life into our kind.
So, let me get this straight. You're saying that if he does it, it's not a horrible thing? It's not like a crime? That murder is not a thing if he's the one who does it? That he's, what, immune to murdering people? Because it's him? Gosh, okay, I'm gonna compare this to something. Now, this is not a political thing, okay? I want to make that very clear. This is a movie thing. I'm making a movie reference here. Now, I know it was a movie based off of something that happened in real life, in a political thing in history, okay? But it's a line that resonates with me with this comparison here when I think about it. How many of you have seen the movie Frost Nixon? For those who don't know, back in whenever it happened. In real life, the whole Richard Nixon thing with Watergate and all that, there was then an interview that happened with Frost, and there was a famous moment, and I'm not referring to I am not a crook. That's a separate thing. There was a point in the interview where, and I think they really tried to emphasize this in the movie because, of course, it's a movie. You got to capture those moments in a more theatrical, cinematic way for the audience, right? There's a point in the movie where Frost asks Nixon's like, are you saying that if the president does it, that means it makes it not illegal? And Nixon responds, I'm saying that when the president does it, that means it is not illegal. And it was just one of those jarring moments in the movie, in the interview, where, people reacted to it, you could see. Now, again, I'm not trying to make this a political thing. I'm just simply trying to make this as a comparison from a line from a movie. Because the way that, I forget the actor's name, the actor who they picked to play Nixon, did a really good job in the movie. And I thought the way he delivered that line, I've seen the actual interview, and it wasn't a identical replica of the way they delivered it. They delivered it differently because, of course, it's a movie. You got to make it more like thematic and for the people watching the movie. But it's just the way he delivered that line that it reminded me of what she just said to me. Murder is a sin that is committed by mortals, not by he who created this world and breathed life into our kind. She's saying that because it was him who committed the murder, it's not actually murder, because he's the one doing it. Therefore, it's fine. That sounds like exactly the same thing to me. And that's a concept that bothers me. I'm not trying to make a real-life comparison here, but I almost can't help it. Just the idea that someone... Now, this is Inarius. I'm not trying to make a real-life comparison to any leader in real life or anything. Again, I'm not trying to make this a political thing. I'm just simply saying the fact that they believe this about Inarius just shows how fanatical these people are when it comes to following Inarius. And this is messed up because we who know the truth about Inarius and his lord know how incredibly ridiculous and messed up he is. Why did Inarius turn Donan away?
There is a time to act, and there is a time to sit in prayer and reflection. Donan must learn this on his own. If he does, he will be welcome to stand with the Father in the battle to come.
You are a messed up lady, Prava.
Faithful tenant.
Shut up, Inarius!
A prophecy has been delivered to me. One that speaks of a...
Donan, I have a letter for you.
Good news for once, I hope.
It's from Lorath.
Oh, wonderful. So, Lord. Lilith. Entering hell. It's Soulstone. What? Is he serious?
What does it say?
He didn't tell you? No, of course not. That would require some basic degree of consideration. It's written in our code. He sent a plan. Though calling it that is generous. He wants to imprison Lilith with my Soulstone. The one that held Astaroth.
Can it work?
Certainly not. The stone needs to be attuned first. And he will need an expert for that.
Lorath thinks that expert is you.
Then he is even more foolish than I thought. Go to the Horadric Vault, will you? I'll dig up what he needs. You can deliver it. And maybe then he'll leave me alone.
So this is when, in the original version of this game, he would be like, hey, by the way, you don't have a way to get around, do you? You don't have a mount. So give this letter to a friend, and he'll give you a mount. They took that quest out because now, basically, you can have a mount right from the very beginning. So did you come to see Inarius?
For all the good it did. After Scott's Glen, I hoped he could give me, I don't know, forgiveness, guidance, anything. He spoke of the prophecy, his campaign against Lilith. I offered my help, but all he said was, what use has a general for a broken soldier?
Screw Inarius. Screw Inarius, screw the cathedral, screw Prava. Was there something in that letter that angered you?
It's not what was in it, but what wasn't. He didn't even have the decency to mention. It doesn't matter now. He's come down from the mountain, yes. But he's still the same man who went up.
He didn't say sorry about your son or anything like that. Gosh, Lorath, you idiot. I'm sorry, Donan. Alright, so guess where we're going? Back to the Horadric Vault. We haven't been here since Act 1 with Neyrel. Donan? Have you found your things?
Haven't even gone in yet. We have an intruder.
It's not like that. She's but a child.
You brought a child? Here?
It was she who brought me, actually.
Neyrel is here. Hi, Neyrel. Is she asleep? Oh my gosh, she's been here for who knows how long. She fell asleep working on this stuff here. Studying. Oh, poor Neyrel. Oh, you poor thing.
Watch where you swing that staff. It's not a toy.
Who is he?
He once lived in this vault. The one you're trespassing in. Explain yourself.
I'm a student, conducting research on the Haradrim. What's left of you all, anyway?
A student, huh? You have a teacher? Don't tell me Lorath has taken another apprentice.
I don't need a teacher to study. Lilith threatens Sanctuary as we speak. I need to prepare for that. With or without help.
You? Against Lilith? Well, I came to get my things. I pray they were free from your meddling.
Neyrel, I'm sorry about him. He's a grieving man. Just don't mind him right now. Just give him... cut him some slack.
The primevals may be subdued, but they can never be ended. Even from their home in the Hells, they can still influence our world, walk it unseen. When weakened, they've been known to take the form of strange animals. A one-eyed owl, a wingless bat, or a wounded wolf.
A wounded wolf, you say? Now, we've obviously seen that in this game. We know that Mephisto is the wounded wolf. I don't recall seeing either Bale or Diablo as either the owl or the bat. I would have liked to have seen that, though. To see which one. A wingless bat! That's interesting.
I used to be like that girl. Had more dreams than I knew what to do with. Let me unseal this. Ooh, Charkid.
Notice it's the other side of the vault this time. We couldn't get over here with Neyrel. We went over there, but now we go over here with Donan. Also, Donan, can you be a little nicer to Neyrel? She wants to help, and you are not exactly being the most cordial of people right now. I know you are grieving, but still.
The stone will need to be attuned to Lilith before Lorath marches up to her. It won't hold her well otherwise. I put together some notes on the process before I left.
So one of the reasons why I stop when they talk, and this was a common issue in Diablo 3, was that at times their dialogue would stop or get cut off when you moved forward.
The old workshop. Lorath, Elias, and I would spend days on end cooped up in here, experimenting, debating. Nothing to hold us back but our own imaginations, and how much of each other we could tolerate.
Every tool has been stored away with care, and the books have all been arranged by their proper subject. Very tidy desk. A haphazard desk. Alongside the tools, a few scraps of paper cover the table, but there are never more than a few hastily scrawled sentences written on them. Neglected alchemical tools. Eccentric desk. A table strewn with all manner of things. Books covered with meticulous notes, scrolls featuring lengthy alchemical formula. Somehow you get the sense that everything is half finished, one project after another abandoned in search of a new discovery.
Forgive my familiarity as I write. Harsh words better tell the tale of hard times. Maybe the end of those times nears. Our leader, the Archangel Tyrael, led us to this vault before setting off on a task of his own. He's entrusted me to lead in his place. The rebirth of the Heradric Order is up to the few of us who remain.
And let me guess, we have not seen Tyrael since. Which I am still a little upset about. I mean, look, I really liked Tyrael, so I don't like the idea that we're just simply never going to see or hear from him ever again, you know? Just like without much of a actual, reason or something, you know? Like, why is it we don't get to have some kind of, resolution or finality with a character as important as Tyrael?
The mage Donan has proved to be a wonderful addition to our order. The man has knowledge in spades. Any topic, even the most mundane, becomes profound in his care. He challenges my perspective in a way few have. We've made solid discoveries in the short time we've spent together. I suspect many more to come.
First things first, Lorath will need my notes. Soulstone magic is treacherous, even in the most skilled hands.
Ugh. I missed out on talking to him there. I am so sorry. Actually, hold on. Let me try something. There have been times where if I've been disconnected during a quest or something like that, it will actually bring me back to an earlier point. Okay. It looks like it actually worked. Now, I know this means we have to do a little bit of repeat on some of this quest progress, but it's one of the only ways I know of to actually... Oh, Treasure Goblin. Well, that worked out. We got a treasure goblin out of it. But it's honestly one of the only ways I know of to actually, reset quest progress. Since it doesn't let me, go back to an earlier point in the quest, like Diablo 3 does. This was a mistake I could easily fix and correct in Diablo 3. I cannot do that in this game. Alright, so we'll skip this stuff.
It's no push.
Skip the cutscene.
I used to be like that girl. Had more dreams than I knew what to do with. Let me unseal this. Uchakid. Chespit Hilm. The stone will need to be attuned to Lilith before Lorath marches up to her. Won't hold her well otherwise. I put together some notes on the process before I left.
Tell the tale of hard times. Maybe the end of those times nears. Our leader, the Archangel Tyrael, led us to this vault before setting off on a task of his own. His Intremage Donan has proved to be a wonderful addition to our order. The man has knowledge in spades. Any topic, even the most mundane, becomes profound in his care. He challenges my perspective in a way few have.
Alright.
First things first, Lorath will need my notes.
Oh my gosh, really? Is that really it?
Even in the most skilled hands.
Seriously, that was it? I apologize for wasting y'all's time. I thought it skipped that dialogue because I moved over here.
Tread carefully. We summoned the spirit in here, and it ran amok. Lorath assured me that he banished it for good, but I've always had my doubts.
Yep. Those doubts were justified. He clearly lied to you. I apologize for wasting y'all's time, but at the same time, I got a treasure goblin out of it, so...
Spiders always find a way in.
I know, right? I hate it too, Lorath. Or not Lorath, Donan. I also hate spiders, Donan. Believe me. More than you know.
Lilith hails from her father's domain. Hatred. That's the essence Lorath will need for the attunement. I kept a map. Somewhere. Here. All the places Mephisto's hatred yet lingers. There's just one last thing.
I'm looking around for the other note. Haven't seen it yet. Or maybe there isn't one. I guess it's just the two notes. Is that your amulet on the table?
Yes. I bet Lorath still wears his. The Order's mission was his lifeblood. I couldn't give up my life for it. Not like him. I wanted to be a man. I left to chase family, fellowship, glory. And for what? You saw how that ended. My son. I can't do it. It wouldn't work anyway.
Donan.
You don't understand. The stuff soul stones are made of, they're old as the eternal conflict itself. With magic so primordial, you need faith. You need spirit. I have none.
What you lack in faith, you have in allies.
Who? You?
Yes. You're the only one who can help us.
Unfortunately, you may be right. I can't make any promises. Really. But I can try. For you too? I'll try. Let's hear what the old man has to say.
Okay, Donan. Please be nice to Narelle, okay? She just wants to help, okay? You're not the only one grieving here, okay? You lost your son, she lost her mother. Both of y'all cut each other some slack, okay? Narelle, what have you been up to?
This place is a treasure trove. Look at this masterpiece. Kalha's beyond the veil of the southern jungles.
You're familiar with Kalha's work?
She's brilliant. One of my favorites.
Mine as well.
Have you read her treatises? Never mind. You can tell me on the road.
On the road?
I'm going to help you. I know the Haradrim's ways. Your magic. Even that coded writing system you use. And don't tell me it's too dangerous. Lilith took my mother. I'll do whatever it takes to stop her.
That's a good speech. Might even convince the man you should be telling it to. Come on. I'm headed to him.
But your Haradrim, isn't this your vault?
It was once. Now, I suppose time will tell.
Find what you were looking for in the vault?
I've only scratched the surface, but that will have to be enough. Lilith won't be stopped by studying alone.
Are you going to reseal the vault?
No, I don't think I will. If we fail, what would it matter whether all these secrets stay buried?
How many people lived here back in its heyday?
Us three Haradrim, Elias, Lorath, myself, and an angel, Tyrael.
An angel? Like Inarius?
Very different from him, fortunately. Tyrael set off before Elias did. I don't know what drew him away, but I could tell he was afraid. We fell apart after he left.
What was it that Tyrael learned that made him afraid, that made him feel like he had to leave? I would like to think that the writers have something planned for Tyrael, but I honestly have no idea. It's possible they are setting it up and teasing that maybe in the next expansion, that maybe Tyrael will come back, they'll bring him back. Believe me, I would love to see Tyrael come back. I would love to see Jonathan Adams make a return voicing Tyrael. I think it would be really cool. Because even if they bring him back and even if they kill him off, I at least would know what happened to him. I just hope to see Tyrael back again, and maybe we find out what ultimately happened to Tyrael. So what is the Soul Stone?
It is a curse. The bane of the Haradrim, but also our greatest weapon. There's nothing like it in existence. The first Haradrim used a set of soul stones to contain Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal. But such power comes at a cost.
Not to mention that they basically failed. What is the cost?
A soul stone must always be guarded. It consumes your days, your dreams. You become a prisoner just as much as the demon contained in the stone. And despite your efforts, the evil eventually finds a way to break free. Even so, I know of no better way to contain a demon. I wish I did, though.
Maybe we just haven't found it yet. Alright. Back to the chapel.
You were right to call upon me, you know. Soul stones are no trifle.
There's the Donan I remember.
I need air.
Thaisa? Not too far. Thaisa? Are you feeling alright?
Andariel is getting louder. Screaming? Or laughing? I can't tell the difference. I tried to push her down, but being stuck in that cramped room... I just need a moment of quiet.
If she's getting louder, even in holy ground like this place, that's not good. Remember, Lorath said this is holy ground, which is why she got quieter. But even here, she's getting louder. That's bad. So, what's going on?
I'm still muddy on the details of this plan.
The bones are there. Lilith aims to take Mephisto's power for herself. Before she can reach him, we use the Soul Stone on her.
Preparing the stone will take time we don't have. Why don't we fight her?
Who among us? You? Her corrupted blood still runs in your veins. No. Fighting her kind is always a last resort. Even if you could defeat her, she'd eventually come back. But a smarter weapon, the stone, would be up to the challenge.
Soul stones usually fail, given enough time. It might not work.
You can make it work. There's no one I trust more to do it.
The wind is picking up. I can't see her. Thaisa!
I'll find her.
Thaisa? Elias!
You're fumbling in the eye. Let me write to your little cow.
You! If you hurt her...
Hurt her! I elevated her! The runes inked into her skin form a waypoint. She is a beacon across realms!
He's summoning Andariel.
It matters not. Her part is done. Your part is done too. Savor your breath while it lasts.
Here we go, guys. There she is. Little different. Looks a little different from how she was back in Diablo 2, doesn't she? So let me just say, I hate these things. Just look at her. Trying to give you like a good shot of her. Like, yes, she is naked. Because of course she is. And she's literally like... Remember how I said she thrives on suffering and anguish? Just look at her skin. Look at the scars, the burns. When I was talking about she thrives on anguish and suffering, I wasn't just talking about other people. I was talking about for herself as well. I mean, look at this. She has herself like set up in this like this torture rack. Also, if we step out here, we take damage. I'm just really trying to go ahead and show off how she looks here, her model and everything, because yikes. Also, her eyes are gone. You notice that? She doesn't have eyes. They have literally been removed. Oh, whoops. I did not mean to chunk that much of her health. I'm sorry. Because there's a whole other portion. Alright, so... I should have... My bad. So she rips that off and look! Oh, I am so sorry, guys. So, I was going to show off the fight a bit more. Oh, my gosh! I cannot believe I just did that. Oh, man. I did the wrong thing. I meant to maul and I hit the other... Ugh, I hit trample by mistake. I'm so mad at myself right now. So I was going to show off, and I was hoping the little bit of health she had left would allow me to do this, was that she, of course, she rips that thing off, and she sprouts the extra, like, you know, arms on her back, like how she had in Diablo 2. She gets the red hair back, and she basically gets back to how she was back in Diablo 2 as, like, the Maiden of Anguish. And she then does other mechanics of the fight. Now, it's not... You get an idea of how her fight is here, but trust me when I say the version you fight in the endgame, the tormented version, oh my gosh, that version at times made me want to rip my hair out. Like, there are times where she will vanish and you have to take out those things over there with the chains, while you have these areas that you can't cross because they will do absurd damage to you and kill you. Also, you'll have this thing spinning around you have to avoid or it's going to kill you, and you have to destroy those things on the outside in order to get her to spawn again. Meanwhile, she does, absurd damage as well. And this is kind of like a little mild version of the fight that you would encounter in the endgame later. So I apologize. I want to show this off properly, but unfortunately, the way this game is set up, I can't do that! The only other way I could possibly show this off in this portion of the campaign is if I hop on one of my alts. At this point, it would have to be either my rogue or my sorceress, and just have them beeline through Act 3 and get to this point and then show it to you guys on camera so I can actually show off the fight proper, you know? Ugh. I may actually do that. I may start the next part, because I'm not going to do that now, but I may spend time off camera getting my rogue or sorceress to Act 4, and then getting to this fight, and then showing you that fight on either of those classes to try and show it off proper without insta-killing her like I did just now on my Druid, so I can actually show the fight off proper, and then we would actually continue. I'm so sorry. I really wanted to show that off because I think it's a cool fight, and it's a nice like little tease for what you're going to be getting in the end game. Because if you end up thinking this fight is tough at first, just wait till you do the tormented version, because the tormented fight is one of those fights that just, oh man. There was a period of time where I was really trying to get that in the end game before the expansion came out. And I spent a lot of time really trying to pull it off. I wasn't in a position where I could one-shot it like other people. I was in a position where I was having to do it legit. And it took me a lot of tries and quite a while to get it down. Ugh. I apologize. So while all that was going on, they were in here doing this. Oh, nothing. I just, killed one of the Lords of Hell.
Bloody hell. You finished the ritual from the volcano, then?
Elias. That's the man who summoned Lilith. You're saying he summoned a lesser evil too?
Keep up, girl. Is Andariel gone?
Yes. And Elias? He fled. Before going to the steps, Elias came to Hawazar, took something that wasn't his. It's why I'm hunting him. I have a friend in Hawazar who has mastered the art of immortality. She might know his secret. Let me take you to her.
I thought we were after Lilith, not Elias.
Finding him may lead to her.
And while we look for him, you'll have time to work on the stone. That's what you wanted, isn't it?
Damn it, I'll bite. On one of those rare occasions you gave me good advice. You said the answers you need are often in the place you least want to look.
It was you who said that.
Ah, you're right. Let's get the horses ready.
Ariel is preparing her stuff in here. Thaisa? Okay, first of all, are you okay? Second of all, your hunt for Elias, is it personal?
Not at first. But then he almost killed me. Marked my skin. Put a demon in my head. I will take pleasure from his death. The hunt will soon be over. You've angered him. He will come to you. And I will be there when that happens. If fate allows, let it be my hand that ends him.
I will keep that in mind. Donan? Did you know Elias well?
I thought I did. He was Lorath's student in the Order. It used to be just the three of us. He was young then. I guess we all were. His thinking was always radical. But I never thought it would come to this.
Lorath? The others are ready.
Listen, I didn't mention it earlier, but you did well. You stood against Andariel, a lesser evil, and lived. That's no ordinary feat. But don't let it go to your head. The arrogance and foolhardy never last long in Hawazar. I wonder what old Deckard Cain would have written in his chronicles if he had seen us. Two old friends reunited. New allies eager to learn from our vast knowledge. Bound as one against the encroaching darkness, like the Haradrim of old. They were probably lost and bitter, just like us. But Cain had a gift for seeing the good in people. One thing was certain, at least. Lilith meant to devour Mephisto and claim his power as her own. Had that been her goal all along? Not sanctuary, but a bid to reign in hell. And Elias, the damned fool, was too blind to see it. Perhaps we weren't perfect, but we knew we had to make a stand. We were the world's only hope.
And that's Act 4. Like I said, very short act. So then we would make our way through here to Hawazar. With the main hub city over here, Zarbinzet.
You were a student of Elias's, Thaisa?
I was hunting Elias. Pretending to study with him was useful to me.
Were you and Donan friends?
Friends? Did he tell you that? If he thinks so, you should ask him what happened. I don't care anymore.
It seems you still care.
I'm starting to think taking you on this journey was a mistake.
I just killed Andariel. What do you think would have happened had I not been there, pal? So how are we going to stop Elias?
We must break his hold on immortality. He cannot continue to escape his judgment.
Yes. And without Elias, we may have more success against Lilith. Where do we start?
Seek out Timoe in the marshes. She traded with the power in the swamp and received long life. She may have the answer to killing Elias for good.
Neyrel and I will start looking for her.
What about Donan?
He has his hands full with the Soul Stone. A heavy burden to bear alone. Might be wise to offer him assistance.
So who is Timway?
An old acquaintance who has lived in this place for countless years. She taught me much about the swamp and its power, though that was a long time ago. She might try to turn you away. Do not let her.
What do you know about Zarbinzet?
It is a town at the edge of Hawazar, forever between Sanctuary's power and the swamps.
What is this power of the swamp that you are referring to? Hawazar is part of Sanctuary.
Ah, is it?
I'm not sure what she meant by that. Actually, I do. I'm just building up the suspense of what you're going to be seeing in this upcoming act.
Look around us. Everything rotting. There's no future here, my love.
I took an oath. I can't just abandon my faith because it got hard to keep it.
This is not the only place faith lives. The light touches everywhere but here. Please, come with me back to Kyrgyzstan.
Donan? Will you journey with Lorath and Neyrel into the swamp?
I think not. I have to take care of the Soul Stone. Lorath will be fine alone. Northeast of here is a Zakarum keep. We know hatred has a strong presence there. Perhaps we can use it to prepare the Soul Stone to trap Lilith. I could use your assistance, if you're able.
I see you're wearing your Herodric amulet now.
It doesn't have sharp edges, like that cathedral pendant. That's a benefit. Makes me think I shouldn't have taken it off in the first place.
What happened between you and Lorath?
If you asked him, he'd say I abandoned the Horadrim's ways. But all I wanted was to broaden our horizons. Forge new allies with the cathedral. Start a family of my own. The thing about Lorath, it's hard for him to get close to people. And even harder to let them go.
And on that note, we will be cutting it off here. When we return, we will be either heading off, because you'll see we have 2 main quests now. We will be either heading off to go help Donan with the Soul Stone, or going with Loreth and Neyrel to find out more about this power of the swamp. Stay tuned.